Hello, here I am, George from Ireland, and I'm on an 8 to the Thames, Romney 8, if I got that right, because it's Romney Lock. I've got to have a sneeze. You've probably never seen that, the wind coming down someone's snout at 100 miles per hour. So I'm beside Old Father Thames, and for 27 years I've wondered, how do you get to this side? Because you can see the Eton side here, not how do you get to the Windsor side, but this side more precisely, opposite, Fellows 8. If I got it right, well, where is Fellows 8? We always say we go to Fellows 8, which is here, watch the procession of the boats. On the far side of the river, you see the headmaster's house. That's a bit of Eton. And then you see this weir behind me, it explains the noise. I'm on this jetty here. I'm not sure I ever recall seeing somebody on this bit of the island. Am I wrong? On this particular island. Maybe you can see the weir behind me. And then if you look up that way, towards the centre of towards the centre, well, no. Right in there, maybe you can't see it from that angle, there's a weir. And there's another weir towards Windsor, which is, where's my finger? You can't see my finger, which is there. No, you can't make it out. But, and now I know. And I was saying how I was on that side, on that island there, where Luxmore's garden is, being a naughty boy, wearing my balaclava, clapping and being very visible. The 4th of June 1997. It wasn't actually the 4th of June, it was late May. It's George III's birthday it marks, so we usually celebrate it the Wednesday before the 4th of June. And all the parents are there and the procession of boats goes by, and 1,300 or so Etonians and double that number of parents, siblings and so on are watching. And there's one weir here, and I never knew how to get here. Yes, you go over to Windsor, and then at Windsor Eton Riverside Station you turn left. But is this fenced off? Is it walled off? Through the trees it's probably difficult for you to make out the weir, but I can see it all right with the naked eye. And now I know that it's open to the public. But then when I was sitting there clapping for a bit, I saw two young men walk purposefully towards me, but I think they were on this other island here, where that red canoe is. I'm not sure this is a continuation of Romney 8, where I am now. This is Romney Lock. So the mystery is solved. I suppose I didn't think that hard about it. And just now I'm beginning to understand the local geography. I didn't, did I have a bike at Eton? Bizarrely, I don't think I did. I mean, what a waste. Youth is wasted on the young. To say, well, I'm fit and healthy and I'll explore, and occasionally borrow people's bikes, but not that very much. And in there, that island, that's Luxmore's garden, some Etonian master who took that complete marshland and he lovingly crafted it into an exquisite garden by decades of work, and he died in the 1920s, and there was a sort of house photo taken just after he died. But somehow his phantom was supposed to have appeared in the photo, unless they just played around with negatives or something. People were very easily fooled by camera trickery in the 1920s. So yeah, you can see more of Eton, the chapel directly behind me, ode to the distant prospect of Eton College. But it does mention the brows of a hill, so you could be up on the beside Windsor Castle or something. Otherwise, there really are no hills at Windsor. It's very flat around here, so prime agricultural country. They plonk Windsor Castle on the only rise for several miles around. There you can see, yeah, the colour contrast is better. You can make out Eton better. That's the headmaster's house. It was founded in 1440. I'm not sure where that particular bit was built. So a bit of a wilderness here, but I like that because, the Thames Valley is rather built up. So this shaded grove makes for a welcome change. And you can see the Thames is actually quite narrow there. Yeah, with a bit of darkness you can make it out. The other thing about it is it's not very deep at all, because in my 5 years I only once saw people fall in and they found themselves standing. Now admittedly in winter the water level will be lower, and that stream between the mainland and that island, I think it's Fellows 8, wherever Luxmore's garden is. Luxmore's garden is definitely on an island, but I don't know the name of the actual 8. Isn't that shocking? And as I say, the boys had built a ford, like stepping stones, like breeze blocks or whatever, so you could get across. But probably in winter you couldn't. You get your feet wet. Good to go when term's not on, nobody's around, so nobody would especially mind or notice. There are security guards there. But anyway, you get the idea of this island. It goes very long, it's twisty. What else did I say about it? And I finally saw Master's boathouse from this side of the river. Saw some schoolboys kicking their ball around, and so that is just redolent of ode to the distant prospect of Eton College, and I can hear the choo-choo train rattling out towards Waterloo, or perhaps back in from Waterloo Station, because it's a terminus, Windsor and Eton Riverside, built around about 1860. And look how low to the river it goes here. And so some people are sitting there watching, and there's a bench there under one of those large trees. You can't really make it out under that tree, there's a bench where my finger is pointing to. But anyway, and there's one bench, there's a plaque on it dedicated to a British Indian boy, a King scholar, and he and his mother committed suicide in about 2000. I can't remember his name actually. I'm not sure if that's the particular bench. And there's spits of land here which might appear to be islands, but actually they're not. This is a very long, curving one, roughly a letter C shape. So I am exhilarated. I'm just in clover because this mystery is finally solved. So curiosity got the better of me cycling around here. And so that Thomas Gray poem, it really speaks to me. It strikes a chord because perhaps I've arrived at that stage of my life, reflecting on misspent youth and mortality, and wanting to recapture my youthful vigour, and exulting that I can cycle around and see places, have a bit of free time, and try not to ruminate too much on my woes. Because troubles, when they come in battalions. And yeah, so is this the end of the 8? Yeah, that's the mainland. Well, not quite the end of the 8. And you see this lock here, raising and lowering the water levels to prevent a flood, and becomes very thin, the island I'm on here. So this is one side of this island, an 8, you know, EYOT, or else AIT, but pronounced 8, just like the number 8. Yeah, so Romney Island. So we're on Romney Island. I don't think we call it, we don't call it a Romney 8, but any island on the River Thames is an 8, and only the Thames has islands called 8s. Look, some steps down here. Some thoughtful person has brought, I've seen some canoes, go canoeing here. Now, is that an 8 or a spit of land? I'm not sure. I'll just have to go and visit and verify it for myself. And then, what's this little walkway thing for here? You can see some boats, like houseboats, at the boat yard, repairing them, possibly building them. And then later on we'll see masters, because opposite my house, Mustians, there was masters fields, but I'm not sure why. It belonged to the masters as in the teachers, or there was a Mr. Master, I don't know. There was Andrew's boathouse not that far away from it, up the Thames, but there's a boathouse here called Masters Boathouse, and it's nowhere near Masters Field. Look at that. So down to where you carry your canoes or something like that, authorised cruise only, and another set of steps, and then you can see this brook here which feeds into the Thames, and it's got sort of man-made sides. Do you see it dead ahead, the red brick bridge? I must find my schoolboy photos, because when I was one of my sort of afternoons of my last term or so, I walked along and I saw 2 girls about my own age lying down by that stream sunbathing. I took a photo of them. I hope that they didn't mind. I just remember that and seeing their reflections in it, how artistic I was. They didn't object, well, they didn't notice. Anyway, it's lovely. So a bit of solitude on this island, and well, there's a fairly well-trodden path, so obviously there are signs that people have been here, and those little steps people have bothered to make down to the river. I mean, why would you bother your Barney to do that? You see, there again, I think that's not nature, that's human handiwork. Is that obvious to you? Because these things can be kind of more obvious